They've mostly been lashing out. One time I had this girl, she started yelling at me and screaming at me and calling me racist, fascist, all these random claims just because it came up that I was a Trump supporter. It is discouraging. I know other people are afraid to say anything and afraid to come out just because they're afraid of losing friends or getting a bad grade, just because they might get on the bad side of a professor. If they need that letter of recommendation, they're not going to say who they support.
That was an NYU student on Fox and Friends earlier on the backlash he is getting for supporting Donald Trump. Sirius XM radio host David Webb is with me now. David, it is great to see you.
Good to see you.
That's terrible for a student to think he or she can't get a letter of recommendation or is worried about getting graded differently for his or her political views, right? It's a free country.
It's a free country, but apparently the liberal establishment doesn't see it that way. Let me give you kind of a broader perspective. I wrote a piece about 1.5 years ago called "A Nation of Weenies Starts with No Play at Recess." Apparently these weenies didn't get their recess and now they're in college. First of all, they don't have
no conflict resolution.
Right, no safe spaces. Jonathan Peraza at UVM, I started a hashtag for him, Protect Peraza. He was upset about the Trump chalk while they write Bernie and Hillary in chalk. Imagine if they use permanent marker. The sad thing is we've got a bunch of people who are really about shutting down free speech. It's not about they have an objection. If you have an objection, get a piece of chalk. Go write who you support on the sidewalk next to Trump.
Well, and also, in theory, a university is for an exchange of ideas. That's one of the whole reasons
it used to be, but here's what's happened. The agendas have overtaken it. The political correctness has overtaken it. And when I was in college, we loved challenging ideas. Matter of fact, whether you were on the left or the right, we loved the debate. We had it out in the open. Now it's a chalk sign. Are you kidding me?
So, David, you went out and you spoke with some of the anti-Trump protesters and said, okay, let's have a debate. Tell me what's going on. Right. So we're going to play a little clip of what you found.
Is there a specific policy that you really don't like?
Multiple. First of all, Donald Trump, he doesn't have a lot of sound policies in the first place. He's angry, and a lot of Americans are angry.
And he's being unfair to all the Mexicans.
How's he being unfair to all the Mexicans?
He wants
what policies?
A bunch. So many I can't even name.
Well, name a couple.
I'm not sure.
If you had illegal immigrants build something for you, and then you're like, no, we need America to build this for us, it's like, why?
What's your issue with Donald Trump?
I guess my issue is that he just talks a lot about how a lot of he just doesn't know what he talks about.
Basically everything is the matter with Donald Trump to me, in my opinion.
I feel anybody that is voting for him is just, I don't know, stupid. Sorry. That's how I feel. Sorry.
So were you surprised at all by their answers? Not so much the tone, but just the lack of actual precision.
Sadly, I wasn't surprised. What really disturbs me more is that part of that was done at the university campus. And when I go to the university campus where students are supposed to have an exchange of ideas, the teachers, the professors should foster an area, the idea of learning about your objections or what you object to. They couldn't answer me. And people have said, do you cherry pick? I interviewed close to 40 people.
I asked you that because
I went through the crowds. I wanted to make sure, just give me an answer. And they couldn't do it. But it goes to this idea of, this pushing of a narrative. You've got groups getting people together. They hand them talking points. Just say this, say this. They don't even give them the policies they can't object to. But if I ask them what they support, what they stand for, they can't tell me. So you may be afraid of a chalk sign. In America, let me talk to the parents here. You're paying for your kids to go to school. Do you want your kids to come in with critical thinking, critical path analysis, the ability to understand and formulate thought, or do you want them to be a bunch of parrots that you've paid for? Because that's essentially what we're getting in America too many times. There are a lot of good kids in college. I don't want to say they're all bad, but there's too much of these people that don't understand what they're there to do. Learning is a lifelong experience. Sure. It's not giving you a bunch of points and this is what you say. I'm actually a little bit dejected.
I'm glad you got out there, David. I'm glad you got out there. I'm glad you came back.
I'm going to get my chalk sign, and I'm going to get my chalk, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to write all over.
I'm getting David some sidewalk chalk. David Webb with me there.